These 10 rules we're about to share are the rules we most often have to clarify for beginners in pickleball. The 6th one you really want to make sure you understand, and the 8th one is pretty confusing.
So let's get into it. So this first one is that the kitchen area is not lava. A lot of people are really scared to ever step in this area between the net and the non-volley zone line called the kitchen. But the reality is you actually can hit the ball in here as much as you want. You just can't volley the ball. That is illegal. Also, I wouldn't recommend hanging out in here. I would recover back just because you will get a volley and you're gonna wanna slam it. So it's really advantageous to make sure that you're taking advantage of volleying the ball when you can, especially when you're behind this kitchen line. But a place that a lot of beginners will mess up is they'll hit the ball and sometimes the momentum will take them into the kitchen, and this actually is a fault. So what this could look like is maybe you get a really good pop-up and you go to hit the ball and you step forward. This is a fault. So it's really important if you get that pop-up that you get your paddle in position and you just move your paddle, not your feet. That way you still get the point and you don't do a fault.
This next rule we often have to clarify has to do with the serve. And that's that when you're serving the ball, you must be standing behind this baseline, but as long as you make contact before your momentum brings you into the court, that is okay. Unlike the previous rule we discussed, your momentum can take you into the court as long as you make contact first. So here's what it could look like. The next rule also has to do with the serve. Remember, when you're serving, the ball has to go cross court diagonally into the opposite service box, but it's important to know which lines are out and which lines are in when you serve. So if the serve is coming cross court at me, this mid-court line, this baseline, and this sideline are all considered in. However, if the serve hits in the kitchen or it lands on the kitchen line, that serve is considered out.
This next rule has to do with let court. Now there's a lot of confusion around what this is. So basically what a let court is when you hit the ball and the ball travels and it clips the tape of the net. But if it lands over on the opposite side and it's in, it's actually a playable ball. The only exception to this is if you're serving and your ball clips the net, it has to land in the correct service box for it to be considered legal.
A question I often get from beginners in pickleball is, are there ever any redos? Now you can notice this net behind me doesn't have a crossbar running through the bottom. But if you're ever playing on a net that does have a bar connecting the net at the bottom, if the ball were ever to clip the tape and then hit that bar, that would be the only situation in pickleball where there's ever a redo.
There's a lot of misconception and confusion with redos and serves, especially if you come from tennis. I know that you get more than one serve, but in pickleball, every person only gets one chance to serve the ball.
This next rule really applies to beginners and advanced players because depending on where you are on the court, this could be a thing. And that is your paddle can never touch the net during a point or else you lose the point. So 2 areas this might apply to in pickleball is if there's ever a ball that bounces into the kitchen and it bounces shallow and high, if you smack that ball and then follow through and you clip the tape, that is considered a fault. Another area is that if you ever jump this corner here, that is a legal shot in pickleball. It's called an ernie, but be careful not to clip the tape as that is a fault in pickleball.
This next rule is that the serve and the return must bounce, meaning that the ball will bounce on both sides of the net before anyone on court can volley the ball.
Another pickleball rule we often have to clarify has to do with scoring and how you call that out. So in pickleball, when you're serving, you're gonna call your score first, then your opponent's score, and then your server number. When the ball changes back to the other side, meaning you won the ball back, whoever's standing on the right side is server 1, and whoever's standing on the left side is server 2. You remain that server as long as you're scoring, and the server changes when the other team stops you. The only exception to this is the very beginning of the game when the person on the right actually starts as server number 2. If you're in the market for a pickleball net, look no further than Selkirk.com. The Selkirk nets are the preferred pickleball nets of the PPA Tour, and they have options for beginners, intermediate, and advanced players for all budgets and all levels. Head on over to Selkirk.com/collections/nets to get yours today.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe to the PlayPickleball.com YouTube channel.
And we'll see you on the next one.